Hi, this is Maureen with mycasestudies.blogspot.com, and today my idea for you is making your own adult coloring page using stamps. And what I'm actually going to do is stamp my entire design and then scan it into the computer and print it out on different textured papers. And the reason I'm going to scan it and print it rather than stamping on those different papers is because the texture can be hard to stamp on. Just remember, this is for your own personal use only. So let's get started. Okay, like I said, I'm using the Altenew stamp sets. I'm going to start with Persian motifs, specifically this big image on the bottom. And I've got a 6x6 piece of white cardstock, and this is just plain old Georgia Pacific flimsy old cardstock. Doesn't have to be anything fancy or heavy, and you'll see why. And of course I also have my MISTI out. So I'm taking that big stamp and I'm positioning it kind of in the center of one side of my paper. You can set it up any way you want it. The reason why I'm using my MISTI is because I want a repeating pattern. A lot of the popular adult coloring books nowadays have repeating patterns on them, going around in a circle or a square or some sort of shape. And so I'm using my VersaFine ink here to stamp up my image. And that is my favorite ink to stamp in for a really nice, crisp, clear black line. And so I'm making sure that that is pressed down nicely, and it did. And now what I'm going to do is rotate my cardstock a quarter turn to one side, and then I'm going to ink up that stamp and stamp it again. And I'm going to keep doing that until the stamp is done on all four sides. And each time I'm going to press down firmly and make sure it's stamped completely, and if not, I can re-stamp again with my MISTI. And here's the last one going in. And so you can see I've got a nice base for my coloring page right now with just those 4 images, but there's a lot of blank space and I can fit some more things in there. So I'm using the Peony Scrolls, and I've sped up the video so that you don't have to watch this forever. And I'm taking that little leaf image and positioning it in the corner. And every time I pick a position, I'm going to be stamping it in all 4 sides in the same position. So it's going to fill up the space equally on all sides. And every time I stamp that down, I make sure it's stamped nicely, and then I rotate my cardstock a quarter turn and ink up my stamp and stamp again. And the trickiest part to this is finding the stamps that you want to use in the smaller spaces. But luckily there are a lot of really pretty smaller images, like this little, I think it's kind of a leaf. And so it wasn't that hard to pick out things that I wanted to fill the spaces with. And again, it's just such a simple concept of inking and stamping and turning, and inking and stamping and turning. Okay, so here I am putting away the last image that I stamped, and this to me actually is the hardest part, is to figure out what to put in the center, because that is kind of like the most important space of the piece. I didn't leave a lot of room in the center for a big focal image, so I just picked one that I liked a lot that would fit into that space, and it ended up being this kind of swirly leaf-ish thing. Sorry, I don't know what to call it. But there you go. That is the finished page. And like I said before, I scanned it into my computer to print it out on different textured papers. This first one I printed at actual size, which is 6x6, on textured colored pencil paper. And then I also printed it out larger on watercolor paper, and this one is 8x8. so you can see the difference in size between the original and the enlarged version. So I hope you like my idea, and I hope you'll come visit me over at mycasestudies.blogspot.com. Thank you very much for watching.